Right, so in the last video, we looked at the overview of the comparative method and when it is used. And now I wanted to do another short video putting it into practice. Okay, other videos where I think we'll go into the investment after this, but for now we're looking at the comparative method or comparison method, whatever you like to call it. And the best way maybe is to just get stuck in to looking at some examples. And we're going to look at, I think, look at some of those buildings, look at buildings where we try to value what are the value sensitive factors, i.e. what are the components that drive the value. And I'm going to start off with one very simple. It's just an apartment. Let's say we'll call it apartment 25. It's for sale in the open market with vacant possession. That is, it's currently empty. The floor area was measured to be 117 square meters, so quite a large apartment. And actually, we've got some evidence. We've done a little bit of research and we've seen some other properties for sale. We see that within the same building, apartment 2, got a slightly larger area of 125 square meters, and it sold 2 months ago for 250,000 US dollars. And we can see apartment 21. It's slightly smaller, only 2 meters smaller, square meters smaller, 115 square meters, and it sold 6 months ago for $225,000, so a little bit less. Apartment 14, we have a record of this sale. It's 120 square meters, and it sold last month for $246,000. And finally, we know about a further final apartment, apartment 19, and its area we're told is 221 square meters, and it sold last month for $255,000. What we have to do is we have to take this evidence and analyze it and try and come to an opinion of value, what we expect apartment 25 would achieve if offered in the market for sale. We try and look at this evidence, what we've got, and think, what do we know? And we'll start at the top. Apartment 2, it sold 3 months ago for $250,000. We're told it is 125,000 square meters of floor area. And we can think about this. So that amounts to about $2,000 per square meter. Okay, it's a large apartment, but sold for quite a high amount. It's a recent sale, but it is larger than the subject property. Apartment 21, we're told, sold 6 months ago and was 115 square meters, which amounts to 1,957 US dollars, almost 2,000 US dollars per square meter. Similar in size to the subject property, but it's not a recent sale. This happened some time ago. And we expect over time that property values fluctuate. And in a healthy market, they generally grow in time, over time. Apartment 14, we were told it's 246,000, 120 square meters, and that's a little bit more. That's 2,050 square meters. Dollars per square meter. Finally, apartment 19 sold 9 months ago for 255,000. This is quite a while ago. The area is 121 square meters. Not recent, similar in size, and that amounts to 2,107 US dollars per square meter. So that's actually the highest. Okay, which I find a little bit unusual, seeing as it was some time ago. I would probably infer that from this that property prices maybe aren't moving much over that time. They're kind of stable. Property prices aren't rising, aren't falling. And also we might expect that if one property was much smaller, that the rate per square meter might be higher. This is a phenomenon that we call quantum. But I don't think there's any evidence of this here. The apartment sizes are roughly the same size. There's not much difference between them. So what do we say? Well, I'm taking maybe a simple average. I've taken 2050. Was that the highest? Probably because the most recent sale here, if we go back, was 2050, and it's almost similar size, and that's probably a better indicator of the market. But you would have to project about how the market was going. Do you think it's going to be increasing? As an agent, perhaps, or if you know agents, uh, they might be able to tell you this is quite a hot property and that the property value is likely to rise or not. Okay. So we have 117 square meters. The price is 2,050 US dollars per square meter. So we can assume that the value, or our estimation of value, could quite comfortably be 240,000. Of course, actually, with apartments, they tend to compare not on a square meter basis, at least not in the UK. In other parts of the world, they definitely do. But in the UK, we tend to maybe say, how many bedrooms? Well, that's a two bedroom, that's a two bedroom. They're only slightly different in area, in square feet or square meters, but we will say they should be around the same price. But definitely in markets where I've worked, things are devalued on a square meter basis. We'll try another example, a bit more complicated. We're looking at the valuation of a house on a street, and this street has a rather active sales market. As you can see, I'm not sure how good you can see on this photograph, but to the south, or to the bottom of the picture, we have some clear fields. There's no buildings here at the end of the garden. And to the north, we have all the houses look onto built up areas, maybe to other houses. Even numbered houses run along the southern edge, and the odd numbered houses run along the northern side of the street. And we've been told some sales. We have to think of the valuation, or what would the value of number 15 be? And we can say it's a semi-detached house with 4 bedrooms, 2 reception rooms, that is a living room or lounge, and it has a double garage. Obviously, we don't know the sale price, and not applicable because it was some time ago. So we're looking at this one, number 15, if you can see my mouse pointer. Okay, we're given some other pieces of evidence, as you can see, numbers 8, 12, 24, 28, 19, and 31. So number 8, detached property, 3 bedrooms, 2 reception, single garage. Okay, so that's 6 months ago. Was that the furthest? No, number 31 was 7 months ago. Sales price of 312,500. But these aren't particularly interesting in themselves. It's looking at different sales close to what we want to value and trying to come to some conclusions from what we can see from the evidence from that basket of evidence. Okay, we've got the sales prices range from 312,500. These could be pounds, euro, dollars, or anything. They're not labeled at this stage anyway. And the most expensive house was 360,000. And we can see they're quite different. That number 12 is 4 bedrooms, 2 reception rooms, and a double garage, which was 360. While number 31, there was a semi-detached house, which traditionally we would expect detached houses to achieve more. But both of these properties are semi, and the only real difference is one has an extra bedroom. They both sold some time ago. One was 7 months and one was 4 months apart. So they were only 3 months apart. Okay. But the difference is one has an extra bedroom and one looks into the rolling fields to the back and the other looks into other houses and who knows what. It's a built up area. Then that would probably account for the difference in price. So each time we have to look and think about what we can see and what factors have the most effect on value. And of course, they say in property, it's location, location, location that drives everything. You know, the 3 most important drivers of value: location, location, location. And we can clearly see that those even numbered houses that look onto the fields achieve a much higher sales price than these two that look into the built up area. So I would probably be saying that number 15, our subject, is probably going to be around in this band, this 312, 315. Of course, these sales were a bit in the past, and both these properties are roughly the same, except I find it strange that this single garage property achieved 315 more than the double garage that's slightly larger, which achieved 312. But there's the thing, this is where we say that property valuation is really an art rather than a science. Okay. What can't it, I'd look at this and think, what can't it be worth any more than, well, we've got a 4-bedroom, 2-reception, double garage. And is there anything else that is the same? Yep, number 12, 4, it's a semi-detached, 4 bedrooms, 2-reception, double garage, sold 4 months ago, so fairly recently, and that's 360. Okay. And then, but it's on the other side of the street. No, it's on that more attractive side of the street where there is that premium paid. Okay. Are there anything else we can infer? There's a £20,000 difference between number 12 and number 24, and that's got 4 bedrooms, that's got 3 bedrooms. So I would expect maybe it wouldn't be illogical to say there should be a £20,000 difference between number 15 and number 19, or rather number 15 and number 31. Although what I would say it's unusual that this is a single and it has achieved more. I would maybe prefer that to have I would probably prefer to add 20,000 onto one of these to get maybe 335,000 and say that's probably got the most effect on value. It seems to me that the greatest effect on value is that location rather than and the size of property, rather than the number of garages necessarily or how many months ago the sales were. As I said, we would expect that over time prices to rise slightly, but we're not really seeing that here. Except we don't, well, arguably we could also say that we don't quite have enough examples to go by. Now, a couple of other things to say. We're not given any information on the internal condition of these properties, that is the state of repair. We're given only very basic information. We don't even have photographs. Some of them might be quite ugly. Some of them might have gardens that need attention. Some of them might have no gardens at all. Some of them might have large gardens, and these can all have an effect on the value. Okay. As we noticed before, the even numbered houses appear to achieve higher prices because these are on the better side of the road. Perhaps they have a southern aspect and they get sun during the day because they face to the south, and people will pay more for that. At least in the United Kingdom, they will. The size of garage doesn't seem to drive the sale price. Perhaps each house has a driveway anyway. Prices do appear to have risen over the last 7 months, but only slightly. And as you might expect, larger properties sell for more. So we could argue that the price should be greater than that at number 31. Obviously, that's the lower. Here it says 315, although number 31 is actually 312,500. So maybe it means higher than number 19. The lowest. It should be lower than number 28, certainly, which is lower than 355,000. Okay, they're around the same price. Sorry, the same size. Except of course, number 28 only has a single garage. But we can sort of infer that the size of garage doesn't mean anything. So it could, and I suggested putting on 20,000 onto 315 to give us 335,000. But I can see here the slide suggests it should be anywhere between 313 335,000. So I think my estimations may be about right. A good practice is to also check neighbouring streets that go beyond just the evidence we have, and also to see if the comparison in other places between 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom houses is similar. If we can see on other roads there's a 10% difference, say, for having an extra bedroom, then we can probably safely apply that here and be quite confident in our thought process. And anybody who challenged us or argued with us, we'd be able to explain the thought process, and that would give some confidence to them, or perhaps to the bank. In another video, I hope to try and show more applications of this and perhaps consider using it for other types of property, maybe non-residential property as well. But for now, we'll just say that in summary, this method is the most widely used method of valuation. Okay, but remember, one drawback is heavily dependent on evidence of recent transactions. And I think what I said in the last video was what happens in markets that are more opaque or non-transparent. In the UK, I can go to the computer, I can look up the land registry, and I can see what almost any property is sold for. I can't necessarily do that in other countries. We can break down the price unit per figure to allow us to account for variables. This can be on a per square meter basis, often used abroad, but in the UK, it might be more on a number of bedrooms or a number of rooms basis. The other thing we'd say is the opinion of the valuer, the opinion of the appraiser is going to be very based on their own experience. But then again, it's impossible to do this without experience. And they also have to think about changes in the market. Okay, they will be aware of what happens when, for example, other external factors such as the availability of mortgage lending comes into play, or perhaps you're looking at an area, suddenly the local school gets top marks from the school inspector, and suddenly people want to send their kids there and start buying up houses in there, or want to move into the area. These things can drive the value. There's probably far too many to mention in a video, so I will just stop that there and say, once again, you can look at the RICS publication that you can see here, Comparable Evidence in Real Estate Valuation. And thank you for listening.